Hello everyone, the third eye is taking you to see the world. From east to west, from ancient to present, a lot of hermits, eminent monks and practitioners of the right way, have left the prophecy of the current time. From the few words they prompted, we may be able to get a glimpse of the secrets, get a good conscience for refuge, and to protect ourselves and our families. For some material-oriented modern people, it is also an opportunity to broaden their horizons and get rid of their inherent ideas. Inner Mongolia is an ancient and simple nation, where the grassland is endless, the sky is blue and clean, the folk customs are simple, and they admire the gods. For generations, they live on nomads under the care of the gods. There are many magical legends there. The prophecies of the two Mongolian lamas circulating in the prairie are surprisingly fulfilled one by one. I will share you the details following. In the area of Liashuingzi, Xiaqingzi Township, Ningxing County, Shifeng City, Inner Mongolia, there was a Mongolian lama named Adang. Many things he predicted when he was alive, people did not understand at the time, but later discovered that they were come true. 90 years ago, about in year 1930, Lama Deden said to the Mongols, "Don't buy land. Don't buy land even if it's cheap. You can buy meat even if it's expensive." When Lama Deden was practicing, relatives and nephew, surnamed Zhao, who lived in Kaixingzi, often delivered him food and firewood. He asked them to sell out the horses that carried things. His nephew said, "Master Lama, we have to use this horse to transport food for you, why do you let us sell the horse?" Lama Deden said, "One day in future, some people will be in your manger, and take your horse away, so it's better to sell it early." Lama Deden also said that in the future, the roads on the ground will be covered with oil, the sky will be covered with spider webs, and the roads will be covered with snakes' prints. You can see the dramas performed in Beijing at your home, and you will have to feed medicines for plants on the ground. It's difficult to distinguish between male and female in the future. At that time, people didn't understand the words Lama Deden said, they thought he was crazy. Lama Deden had 3 disciples. He did not ask them to recite sutras. Some people asked him, "Why don't you ask your disciples to recite sutras?" Lama Deden said, "It's useless to study the scriptures now. The scriptures written vertically will be not able to save people. The scriptures that will come out in the future written horizontally will be salvation. When something comes out, the Buddha statue will be smashed. At certain time, a Buddha will come out to save people after that. At that time, the scriptures are written horizontally, and when the Buddha prospered again, the people become better." People at that time didn't understand it at all, and even said he was a lunatic. Lama Deden also predicted that after his death, his grave would be stripped off, but later someone would bury him again and repair it. After a few years, Lama Deden passed away, and his grave was buried on the mountain in Yingzi, Henan Province. When the 8th Route Army arrived there, they said that there were treasures in his grave, so they stripped it off. Later, someone from Henan Yingzi buried him again and smeared them with white ash. Most of Lama Deden's relatives live in the Liashuingzi. There has never been a big catastrophe. Hailstones everywhere outside the town, while the town Lama Deden lived never had hailstones. Local people believe that it's because the people there were good to Lama Deden, got a blessing from heaven. Till now, people start to understand the words Lama Deden said, because they were all fulfilled. During the land reform, the land was divided by China Communist Party, and those who owned the land were criticized and killed. Shouldn't the land be bought even if it was cheap? Those who owned horses, the horses were also taken away without charge. Now the roads are all asphalt roads. That is, they are covered with oil, the wheel marks on the road are like snakes crawling, the wires in the air are like spider webs. Now people can watch TV broadcasts in Beijing at home, even news are all fakes, they are all rehearsed. That is, you can see the play performed in Beijing at home. The plants and vegetables grown in the ground have to be pesticides, fertilizers. That was predicted by Lama. The man has long hair like woman and women's hairstyle is short as man. Sometimes it's hard to tell who is a male or female. At the age of Cultural Revolution, CCP smashed the temples and destroyed the Buddha statues. In ancient times, the scriptures were all written vertically, and they could no longer save people. It had reached the end of the Dharma, so Lama didn't to let his disciples learn. The last sentence of Lama said, "By certain time in future, there will be a Buddha come to save people." At that time, the scriptures were written horizontally. The Buddha prospered again, the people become kind. This is the story of Lama. Following, I will talk about the other story of Lama. In the pastoral area of Alyahorkan, Inner Mongolia, there was an old Lama with great respect. He spoke Mongolian. He often warned the Mongolian compatriots how to be a good person, not to act against heaven, and to wait for God's help. The old Lama knew the cause and effect, knew the future. Everything he told was fulfilled one by one, so people would like to consult the old Lama if they had important things. And found it was always good result to follow his guide, so he was deeply respected by the Mongolian people. The flood in 1998 caused mudslides and landslides. The Mongolians called landslides. It was like a landslide. The flood was accompanied by a terrible roar of rolling mud and rocks, and it poured down in an unstoppable force. Large number of houses and towns were disappeared immediately. The helpless people in the face of the disaster were surprised to find that the old Lama's house was intact. Look carefully, the mudslides like the sky collapsed and the floods like the beasts came to front of his house, as if they were ordered. They separated and detoured along by two sides, and even there was no water in the yard, which was incredible. Such a catastrophe alone left the old Lama's house in the middle. People were all amazed. It is better to cultivate the heart to be kind, even the natural disasters avoid him. Later, old Lama said he was going to leave, and told detail on which day he would leave. At that time 2 divine birds will pick up him. And also told people very clearly the direction in which the birds would come from, and which direction they would go. The old Lama really was passed away at the date as he said, and there were really 2 birds, came from as the direction the old Lama mentioned, and flew away in the direction that the old Lama said. The most striking thing was, at the moment of the funeral for the old Lama, there was a burst of the Lama's chanting voice from the sky. Hearing a burst of chanting from the sky, all those who attend the funeral of the old Lama knelt down towards the sky. These kind people felt indeed the existence of God. God is watching 3 feet above. They all shed tears of pious moving. The third eye is taking you to see the world. Today's prophecy will end here. For more interesting prophecies, please pay attention to our next video. Thank you for your likes, subscribe, and share. If you have any thoughts, please leave us comment below. Thank you, bye-bye.